So for this topic, procedure activation, you have to refer chapter number 5 from Ravi Sethi book. In this topic, we are going to see introduction to procedures. Procedures are nothing but functions in C or C++, but in Pascal it is called procedures. Parameter passing methods, different types of methods to pass parameters. Then methods, scope rules for names, that is local scope, non-local scope, global scope. Then we'll see nested scope in source text. We have different types of scopes available for variables or identifiers. So we'll see how to uh, assign a particular variable with nearest scope. Then activation record, whenever function is called or activated, its record is created on the stack, and that is the activation record. So we'll see how activation records are managed by the system, and we'll see lexical scope in C language and Pascal as an example. So introduction to procedure activation. So before there were programming languages, there were procedures. Means only a function at a time can act as a program. So there were no programming languages, but there were functions or procedures. Procedures are construct for giving name to a piece of code. Why we need procedure or why we need function? Instead of repeating same piece of code n number of times, what we can do is make it a function and call that function. So no need to type everything again and again. This piece of code is referred to the procedure body. And when we call the procedure with its name, body is executed. Each execution of body is called activation. So what is activation? Activation is procedure call. Whenever you call a function or procedure, the control is transferred to its body or sequence of program, and that is called activation, procedure activation. So there are two types of procedures. One is function procedure, or normally we call it as a function, which takes parameter and performs some operation and return some result. Normally functions return result and procedure won't. So procedures are just a set of or actions or statements. So if it returns some value, it is called function. If procedure doesn't return anything, it is called procedure. In C language, void functions are procedures, but there is no special treatment for function or procedure in C, C++, Java. But in case of Pascal, we have different keywords for functions and procedures. So this is the mapping of name to its value. When you write a function, you write function name, return type, and parameters to that function. So from name to its declaration, name, occurrence, and its declaration, declaration to location, and location to value. That means suppose we have function add, and add function, we call that add function with value say 5, 10. So function that is name occurrence will go to the declaration, then that is the scope, and from declaration it will go to the function body where that function is actually located, and it will execute this body with these values which we assigned as parameters. So from name to its declaration, declaration to storage location, and from location to the values. In C language also, in FPL2, we have seen there are two types of parameters, actual parameter and formal parameter. So arguments given at the calling function is called actual parameter, or the parameter that we actually pass to this function. A is equal to add x comma y. X and y, these are actual parameters. And arguments used in a function definition are known as formal parameters. So here, whenever we write function body, int add, int a comma int b, here small a and small b, these are formal parameters. So here I may pass x instead of x, y, say 10 comma 15. So value of a will be 10, value of b will be 15. So 10 and 15 are actual parameters, and a and b are formal parameters. And when we call this function, control is transferred from function call to function body. This function gets executed and control will return back the next line of this function. Variable is nothing but a name given to the storage location that we have seen in the previous topic. And our program can manipulate that variable. Each variable in C has specific type. We know that C, we have to explicitly declare variables. There are few languages like Python, no need to declare variable before its use. So, but in C language, we have uh, will have variables with specific type, which determines size and layout of a variable. And syntax is type variable is semicolon. So this is how we can declare a function. This is a prototype or signature of a method. In C language, it is mandatory to give signature before its use. Then this is a function call, and this is function declaration or its body. So when you call a function, its signature is verified from this prototype, whether your past integer values n1 and n2 are of type integer, you are returning some type of sum is also integer. So this is verified, and then function call is made. Control is transferred to this calling function. This function will get executed. It will return the result, and control will transfer back to the new line. So here what you have to remember is we have function call and function body or function declaration. These are formal parameters. These are actual parameters. And this is called function prototype. This is clear, formal and actual parameters. So in case of procedures, basic terminology, procedures take 0 or more argument. We can have procedures without any argument, like say exit function or close function, or say get ch function. We didn't pass any parameter to these functions. So procedures can have 0 or more argument, and then they do something. It won't return anything. For example, printf. Printf is taking one parameter but not returning anything to the system. Functions take 0 or more arguments and return some value. For example, square root function will return square root of 4. Random function will return random value. F1 will return file pointer. And why we need functions and procedures, which are mainly used to extend a language. You have here in like C language, we use hash include stdio.h or string.h. These header files are nothing but functions of all the functions clubbed together of string or math.h, math functions, etc. These are mainly used to extend the language. You can create your own library header file with the functions needed for your project. What are the elements of procedure? Procedure needs a name of declared procedure or function. For example, in this case, your add is a name of function. Then a body consists of local declaration and statement. So this is the body of a method with local declarations and some logic. Formal parameters which are replaced by actual parameters and return type. So these are 4 parameters of a function: name, its body, formal parameter, and return type. So we are talking about procedure, which is this part. Declaration part. Function name, formal parameter, function body, and return type. So these are 4 arguments. Yes?
Ma'am, but procedures do not return anything.
In this topic, we are going to use procedure for both functions and procedures. But just you should remember the difference. Procedures won't return anything, functions return some value. But for this topic, we are going to use procedure as a synonym for functions or procedures. You are absolutely right. Procedure won't return anything, but here we are using procedure keyword for functions as well as procedures.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Got it, ma'am.
So for example, square function. So name of the method is square. Formal parameter is x. Body of method is x into x. And return type is integer. Why should we go for procedures? So assume that now we are using object-oriented programming or logic programming, or we have a multi-paradigm language like Python. But just go into the era there were no procedures, no functions, and we have to write the complete code in main. Can you imagine what will be the lines of code for we are written only in one function? So with that, you have to compare the era of procedures, and then you can find out what are the benefits of procedures. So procedures were mainly used for abstraction. For example, just look at the main. Main is saying you read data, do some calculation and write data, or accept input, perform operation and display output. So here it is very abstract, but how to accept data is written in one function, how to do calculations is written in another function, how to display data, whether you have to display it on the screen or in a file or in any output device, that is the part of display function. So that is hidden from the user can just go through the main. So procedures are mainly used for abstraction. Procedure name tells what the procedure does, not how it does it so. So procedure name is mainly used for abstraction. For example, add. What you are adding? Are you concatenating two strings, adding two strings, or are you adding two complex numbers? Are you adding two dates, or are you adding two integer values? So it is hidden from the user. Implementation hiding. Algorithm isolated within the procedures can be modified by changing only the procedure, not the rest of the program. For example, suppose I have a main with input, sort and output, and sort function I am using bubble sort, but I need to use selection sort. So what I have to do is only replace that sort function. No need to change main or input function or output function. So that is implementation hiding. Algorithm is isolated within procedure, can be modified by changing only the procedure and not rest of the program. Modular programs, yes, you can divide programs into different procedures, and different groups can work on that particular procedures, and then you can merge it. Procedures are used to partition program into smaller pieces that can be understood in isolation. Only that part you can test, check for errors and input output, and then you can add it. You can convert or you can merge all your functions into libraries. Standard collection of useful procedures can be converted into libraries. In Pascal, as I told you, there is a difference between procedure and function syntax. There is a keyword called procedure. This is a keyword. The name of the procedure, for example, say add and parameters, and then semicolon. Begin and end, to start and end the procedure. In C language, we have curly braces. In Pascal, we have begin and end keywords and list of statements. So here you can see there is no return type. Function, we have function keyword, then function name, say square, then parameters, and this is return type, colon, return type is integer, and then semicolon. And begin and end, and in begin we can have multiple statements or body of a method. Here we just have square equal to x into s. Can you see? We are using function name. Square is equal to x into x. X is my formal parameter. So this function is written in integer value. And you know the syntax of C language for functions. So that is not included in the slide. About the scope of variable. So variable is local to a procedure if it is declared in that procedure. If function is declared here or variable is declared in the, for example, in add method, here if you declare integer num3 in this method, so that is a local variable for add method. So local variable, local to a procedure if the declaration occurred in that procedure. A variable is non-local to a procedure if it is not local to that procedure, but the declaration occurs in an enclosing scope of the procedure. For example, suppose we have for loop. In the for loop, we have defined integer I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. So scope of that I is equal to 0 is within the for loop. And outside the for loop, suppose I have declared variable j. So integer j is equal to 1. So that j will remain non-local for loop because it is not a local, but it is non-local. Global is which is declared outermost scope, which is declared for all methods can access that global variable. That is a global scope. Here in this slide, you can see that we have main method. So we call this main method as block B0, complete main, starting from opening curly brace to closing curly brace. B0 is block 0. Then here I have declared two variables, integer a is equal to 0 and b is equal to 0. So for main, these a and b, which is equal to 0, these are local variables. Then opening curly brace, closing curly brace. And for this, I'm called it as B1, block B1. And here I'm printing value of A and B. So what will be the value of A and B for this printf statement? That will come again to this print statement. Now in this block B1, there are two blocks, B2 and B3. In B2, we have reinitialized A with value 2. And B3, we reinitialized B with value 3. Now let me start the camera. You will understand what I have done here in this table. But just tell me what is the local variable and global variable for each block. Here we are talking about scope rules. Just wait. Visible? Block B1. B1 has values A is equal to 0 and B is equal to 0. Then we have block B2. B2 has, we have redeclared B is equal to 1. Then we have another block B3 and B4. In B3, we have redeclared A is equal to 2 and here B is equal to 3. So if I write print statement here in block B2, print a %d, A and B. So which value of A it will take? A is equal to 0, A is equal to 2. Which value it will take? A is equal to 0 or 2?
0.
2.
Yes, it will take 2. To change this, B0, B1, B2. B0, B1, B2 and B3. So, for block B2, declaration is integer A is equal to 2. And it will take value B is equal to 0. So, it will print A is equal to 2 and B is equal to 0 or 1. What is value of B here for B2 block?
1.
1.
Yes, it is 1. 1 is non-local variable. A is equal to 2 is local variable. And which are declared in main, these becomes global variables to all these blocks. Now how to read this table? So int a is equal to 0. This definition, value of a is equal to 0 is available. Where it is available? In B0, complete block B0, but not in B2. Why? Because here we have redeclaration of A is equal to 2. So whenever we, this is declaration where we assign a type and a value, and here it is used. So whenever we are using that variable, it will find out nearest declaration. So nearest declaration is A is equal to 2. And for B, nearest declaration is B is equal to 1. Output of this print statement is 2 comma 1, 2 and 1. But here a is equal to 0. Scope of a is equal to 0 is block b0 minus b2. Minus is not arithmetic subtraction. It is just excluding block b2. All rest of the places value of a will be 0. Here if you go to block b3, what it will print? A is equal to 0 and B is equal to 3. For this print statement, it will print A is equal to 0 and B is equal to 1.
1.
And here it will print A0 and B0. So, scope of this declaration, A is equal to 0 is in block B0, excluding, minus means excluding block B2. Similarly, what is the scope of B is equal to 0? B is redeclared in block B1. It is B is equal to 1 now. So when we print here, print A comma B, it will print 2 comma 1, not 2 comma 0. Here it will print 0 comma 3. Here it is again redeclared. And here it will print 0 comma 1.
So the scope of B is equal to 0 will be B1 excluding B3.
It is B0 minus B1. B3 is in the B1 itself. B3 is also in the B1. No? So when we talk about B is equal to 1 for this declaration, B is equal to 1, then we can say that B1 minus B3. We are talking about B is equal to 0, this declaration. Now here we are not dealing only with the data type, we are dealing with the value also. Some languages allow to redeclare variable with same data type. So integer b is equal to 0, the scope of this declaration b is equal to 0 is in block b0 minus b1, because in b1 we redeclared it as b is equal to 1. Is it clear? B is equal to 0, b0 minus b1.
Ma'am, but if we print B in our B0 block, then we are getting the value as 1.
No, when you print here, print %d a comma b, your value of a is 0 and b is also 0.
Oh, okay, got you.
In B1, here B0 here only we have one print statement, but we can have another function call, can be multiple statements where you are using B. Their value of B will be 0 unless and until you redeclare it. It is redeclared in block B1, so B0 excluding block B1. Then B is equal to 0. Now B is equal to 1. It is in block B1 because it is declared in B1 minus B3 because in B3 it is redeclared as B is equal to. So B1 minus B3. But in B2 or in B1, value of B will be 1 for this B2 and B1 block. For integer a is equal to 2, it is only available in block B2. B is equal to 3, it is available only in block B3. This is clear, scope rules. This is interesting, you can check it. Let me check whether it will allow me to do this. in C language, redeclaration is not allowed. We cannot declare the same variable again and again. That's why I'm just assigning it with new values. So this is the block B1. B0, sorry. This is block B1. This is B2 and B3. I'll write here B0. This is B1. B2 and B3. Let's check whether it is allowed or not. Yes, it is allowed. Python tutor is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
So in main, we have value A and B, which is initialized to 0, 0. Then can you see one more instance of B is created here, line number 6. So new memory will be allocated to this B, its value is 1. Now again we are in block B0, B1, B2. This is block B2. One more location is created for variable A. Its value is 2. So when we are executing this statement print B2, the value of A it will take from line number 8, that is A is equal to 2, and B it will take from line number 6, that is B is equal to 1. So we have 2 instances of A and 2 instances of B, but which it will check, correct, or compiler will consider nearest instance. That is called scope. Oh, I should not use ampersand here in printf. This printf statement is executing, and we have 2, 1. Value of A is 2 and value of B is 1. For this block, it will take value of A as, note that here we have another instance for B, which is 3. But now only one instance of A. This A is equal to 2 is not available in this block B3, because that was a local definition. So once you have came out of this scope, the value A is equal to 2, that scope is deleted from the stack. That entry is discarded from the stack. New entry is created for int B is equal to 3. And value of A, it will take global value, which is 0. So A is 0 and B will be 3. This is block B3, 0 and 3. For B1, here A, it will take 0 and B, it will take 1. So for B1, it will take 0 and 1. And for B0, it is 0, 0. But you have to look at this part, how the variables, memory is allocated to these variables and how they are deleted from the stack. So these are local variable, global variables. So A is equal to 0 and B is equal to 0 is available throughout this main execution. You can see that A and B from line number 4 is available throughout. And in between the values will be allocated and deallocated as per their scope. So B is equal to 1 is allocated. A is equal to 2 is allocated. Now when you come out of this, A is equal to 2 is deleted and B is equal to 3, memory is allocated. Now when you come out of this block B3, to that line number 12, B is equal to 3 is deleted from the stack. And still your original A and B are available throughout. So these are local global variables for this method, A and B. B is equal to 1 is non-local variable for this block. A is equal to 2 is local variable for this block. So when you know the scope of variable at compile time before runtime, it is called lexical scope or static scope. In lexical scope, identifiers are declared in accordance to the nesting of the program text. Can be determined unambiguously at compile time. You can define or decide what is the data type of a variable, what is the value of variable at compile time. The scope of variable is known at compile time. So it is called lexical scope. In case of dynamic scope, the identifiers are declared in accordance to when the declarations are encountered during execution. So when you call the method, memory is allocated and that variable is available, or the scope of that variable is allocated. So it depends upon when you call that particular method. It is not declared at compile time, it is considered at runtime. So more on lexical and dynamic scope we are going to see in the next slides. So some languages support only static languages or static scope. Some languages are only dynamic languages like Python, but some languages can support static as well as dynamic languages. So scope of the name determined at compile time. So C language, Pascal, Ada, these are having compile time scope or lexical scope or static scope. And the rule is most closely nested scope rule that we have just seen. A is equal to 0, B is equal to 0. So the declaration which is more closed is considered as within the scope other than outside the scope. Dynamic scope is determined at runtime by considering the current activation, which method we called, and depending upon that current call, the variables will get the scope. Example is Lisp, APL, Snowball, Python, even C language also support dynamic scope when we use recursion or procedure activation. Parameter passing and methods. What are the parameters that we, the parameters are which are argument that we pass to the methods. When declared, a procedure or function is given 0 or more formal parameters. Usually a procedure has certain fixed number of parameters. We can pass integer a, comma b, comma c, integer a, comma integer b, comma integer c. There are 3 parameters. Or we can have random parameters. For example, in C language, we have var arg, variable argument. So for example, printf statement. In printf, we can pass only one parameter like message, printf hello world. In double quotes, just a string. Or printf like here. Printf here one string, comma, one variable, another variable. Or I can have only one string, one variable. Or I can have string variable, then another string, another variable. So any number of parameters that I can pass to printf method. So printf is an example of variable argument method. How it works? So by default, it will take the parameters that you passed. Otherwise, rest of the parameters are considered by default. It is similar to function overloading that we have seen in Java. Variable arguments. Normally, function arguments are fixed. When a procedure is invoked, the arguments are used. So when now you know what is the meaning of invoke application or activation. When you call, that is nothing but a function call. When you call a function, then we are using those arguments, the parameters that we pass to this method. So when the procedure is invoked, the arguments are used. So we talked about formal parameters, we talked about actual parameters, and in C language everything is a function. So here printf integer argc argv and %f u2. So main is a function, printf is a function, and for printf, in printf we are calling another function. And here foo is a function, user defined function, and square root is inbuilt function. So what will be the output of this code? Will it print something or error?
Ma'am, what is that char double star argv?
That I'll explain you. It is in Java. In we have seen main function. What are the parameters for main function in Java? String
Args.
String args. So that args stores command line arguments. It's an array of string. Similarly, main function in C or C++, it takes two parameters. Integer argc, number of characters, argument, means it is an integer value. It will tell you how many arguments are there on command prompt. And this is character array. 2* declare means string, array of string. Character array of arrays, argv, actual variables. For example, when I declare a main function, and if I want to run it from command prompt in Linux, if you go to the terminal and you type command cc, cc is for compilation, cc main.c, which is your function name, and then followed by parameters 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you pass a string ONE1, TWO2, THREE 3. So argc will store 3 because it's a count. How many parameters are there? 3. And the string 1, 2, 3 is stored in this character array. 2 pointers declares that it is a string, array of string. So this is similar to string args in Java. In Java, we have string data type, but in Python, string data type automatically counts the length, number of strings available in your array. But here we need a separate argument for counting. C stands for count, argument count, and argument value. So argc and argv. You can change these names if you want. So main is a function. These are arguments to main. Printf is a function, these are arguments to printf. Foo is a function, this is argument or parameter to this function. Square root is a function, this is argument to a function. So any function, we can pass 1 or 0 or more arguments. Formal parameter for foo is x, this is the formal parameter, actual parameter is 2. Right, the argument for foo on line number 5 is 2. So what are the arguments? Argument means actual parameters, and when you only say parameters, these are formal parameters. In Pascal, we have two types of parameter passing methods, call by value and call by reference. So it's a common function, we always refer swap function. Here x and y, these are integer variables. We declare one more integer variable z, and z is equal to x, x is equal to y, and y is equal to x. And when you call swap function, we pass values 10, 20. So in swap function, values will get swapped, but when you come back to main, the values will remain unchanged because this is call by value, it is not call by reference. But in case of call by reference, value here, can you see the difference? The var keyword is used. In C language, Pascal, var keyword is used for pointer, ampersand. And here we are swapping addresses instead of values. That's why values are getting swapped. I'll explain you with the help of C example, C language example. Here, go to the Python tutor. Integer a is equal to 10. Integer b is equal to 20. Then I'll call swap function a comma b, and here print it after swapping. Percent d, percent d. And we'll see before swapping. We have to write swap function void swap. First I'll do with call by value, integer z. How to do that? X, I have to use z as temporary variable. I have to store value of x in z. So now x is free. Store value of y in x, and now y is nothing but z. Okay. So let's see how it executes. This is call by value. So you can see main function is called. So activation for main function, activation record for main function is created on stack. Here we have two variables a and b. The value is 10 and 20. So before swapping, it will print 10 and 20. Then swap function is called. Actual parameters are a, b, or arguments are a, b, and formal parameters are x, y. So when you just look here, when the control is transferred to swap function, another activation for swap is created. And x, y, and z, these are local variables. X and y are formal parameters, z is local variable. So scope of x, y, and z is only limited to the swap function. And what we have done, x will take value of a, y will take value of b. Note that x and y are another memory locations, not the same. These are another memory location. Another memory is allocated for x and y. These values are copied as it is, x 10 and y 20. Now what we are doing, z is equal to x. The value of z is 10. Then x is y, which is 20, and y is 10. So values are swapped. Initially x and y were 10, 20. Now it is 20, 10. But when you return, when the scope of this function terminates and you will return, control is written to line number 7. You can see that a and b are still 10 and 20. Because whatever happened in swap function, we are not returning anything, so it will not affect the values of a and b from b. So that is called call by values. And let's see how call by reference will work. Selection. So in case of call by reference, instead of passing the values, what I'll do, I'll pass addresses. Ma'am had explained you pointers, so you are familiar with what is meaning of pointer and its location. So when I'm passing address, I need a pointer to point to that address. So these x and y, these are pointer variables. Here z is temporary variable, value of x is star x, that passing to z, then value of y is passed to x and value of z is passed to y. We'll see how it executes. Z is not a pointer variable, it's an integer variable. Look here carefully, it's very interesting. A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20. Before swapping A and B, 10 and 20. Now look here. What we are passing to swap function? Address of A and address of B. And that address we are storing in pointer X and pointer Y. So what is X and Y here? X is another name or synonym for A and Y is another name or alias for B. So X is pointing to A and Y will point to B. Can you see this link? X is pointing to A and Y is pointing to B because X is not holding value of A. X is holding address of A. Address of A. So value of A point star X means what? 10. And star Y means what? 20. Because X and Y just see that X and Y are no new memory locations. These are the same name or different name given to same memory location. Our address of A is stored in X and address of B is stored in Y. So these are pointer variables. You can see here pointer. It is written. Pointer is a data type. Now what we want to do? Value of X into Z. Note that star will denote value which is indicated by X and ampersand will denote address. So a value at location pointed by X is stored in Z. So X is pointing to A, its value is 10, so this value will be stored in Z. Now what we are doing, value which is pointed by Y, which is 20, Y is pointing to 20, that you want to store in X. So look very carefully, it will change value of A also. Value of A is now 20. It was 10 initially, now it is 20. So it will not change value of X, it will change value of A pointed by X. So the value that X is pointing is now the value which is Y is pointing. And same thing, value which is stored in Z that we want here, replace it by the value which is pointed by Y. And these values are set. You can see after swapping it is 2010. Are you getting the difference between call by value and call by reference? Girls? In next lecture, we'll elaborate more on this.